In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Bass in your face. Bass in your face.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or are watching the channel for the first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense because here on this platform, we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions, but not everyone uses logic. So, for that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. I also need to let you know that the subscriber note has been enabled for the first 5 minutes. What does that mean? That means that if you are not a subscriber and if you want to enter a comment in the chat, you must be a subscriber for at least 5 minutes. I also have another YouTube channel, a much smaller channel called Latina Diaspora, where I discuss issues pertaining to Latinos, particularly Latinos living in the United States. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who have already subscribed to the channel, whether you've been a supporter from day one or just recently joined. I really appreciate all the love and all the warmth you continue to give me. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, particularly Instagram and TikTok. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who allow me to enter into devices and those who watch from the clouds, even the haters. As far as my other channel, there is a link to Latina Diaspora in the description. So, what I'm going to ask you to do, if you have not done so, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and set the bell notification to all. So, therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on playback. Now, I see here that tonight is a busy night regarding streams because multiple creators have streams going on. So, I take it that most of the people will catch it on the playback. Now, tonight's episode is what I call open discussion. Okay, open discussion entails that I discuss a series of topics, which are things that are currently on my mind, and of course, you, the audience, will have an opportunity to opine regarding each topic. Also, if there's anything that's on your mind that you want me to discuss, we will discuss it here. I want to let everybody know that the link to join the panel has been pinned. If at any time you wish to hit that link and express your point of view regarding any topic, you may do so. Let me make this perfectly clear that if I've never seen you or heard from you before, I will insist that you come up in the backstage before I let you on the panel. And the reason behind that is the following. The last thing I want is someone to flash any inappropriate material, which will cause the people YouTube to take down the stream. So, see. So with that, excuse me. So with that being, excuse me. So with that being said, the first topic I'm going to talk about is health out there. First of all, I really appreciate all those who have expressed, their words of encouragement during my recovery. My knee is slowly getting stronger. Okay. Those of you who are familiar, whenever you go through have a knee replacement, you're going to be walking with the aid of some sort of device for a considerable amount of time. Right now, I'm getting around with a walker. Okay. My knee is slowly getting stronger, and hopefully, within a couple of weeks, I'll be able to transition from a walker to a cane. And then get to the point where I'm able to walk without aid any devices. Now, one thing, bear in mind that full recovery can take as much as a year. It varies on the patient. Okay, but I mean within 8 weeks or so, depending on what line of work that you do, you'll be able to return to duty, especially if you're doing an office job. If you're doing a job that requires physical activity, it's going to take longer. So I will continue to keep you informed as regarding my health. Now, the next thing I want to discuss is, of course, there's been a huge outcry from many members of the Democratic Party that Joe Biden should step aside and allow someone else to be the Democratic candidate. Okay. And this is, and part of it has to do with his performance regarding the first Democratic debate, the presidential debate. Now, mind you, this is something that the Biden camp requested. Okay. It's just unfortunately Joe Biden had a poor performance. Okay. So there's been a huge outcry from many donors and many politicians that Joe Biden should step aside. Okay. I see here. Good evening, Gigi. Thank you very much for stopping by. And of course, let me just make it perfectly clear that my friend Gigi has her channels, okay? She also has a backup channel, so I'm going to ask you, if you have not done so, show love for her and subscribe to her main channel and her backup channel. Now, in the description, there is a link which will lead you to Gigi's backup channel. Okay. Good. You're welcome. And of course, our good friend Georgia is in the chat as well. And he too has a YouTube channel which he creates family-oriented content. So I'm going to ask you to show some love and check out his content and subscribe to his channel. So as I stated, there's been a lot of people, trying to convince Joe Biden to step aside. Okay. I'm going to say this, and I've stated before, okay? And this has been my position for a long time. Both these candidates I have had major issues with. Okay. And let's see what this is. Okay, cool. Now, I stated before that I've had major issues with both candidates, okay? One of the reasons is that their cognitive skills have declined significantly, okay? And that's the reality, okay? For many people, when you get into your 70s and 80s, there is a decline in health. Now, there are those who are able to be sharp going into the 90s, okay? Unfortunately, this is not the case with both of these candidates. Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is the issue is that um, there have been certain individuals who try to hide his his cognitive decline. Okay, unfortunately, it was there for everyone to see. Now, do I think he should step aside based on one performance? No. Okay. However, if he continues to have moments where he freezes and mistaking Kamala Harris for Trump, that's not a good thing. Okay. But everything is said and done, it's going to be up to Joe Biden to make that determination whether or not he should step aside. Just bear in mind this. Should he decide to step aside, that means that Kamala Harris will become the Democratic candidate, okay, to occupy the White House. And as bad as Biden is, she's worse. Okay. And of course, many of the issues I have with Trump is have to do with his implementation of Project 2025, which, if it goes to the fact, means you have thousands of municipal employees which will lose their jobs. They will be deprived of, benefit protection of unions and things of that nature, and replaced by appointees that will basically, rubber stamp everything Donald Trump does. Yeah, it does look. It does look. It looks okay. It looked very promising for Donald Trump right now. But we got one thing we have to bear in mind. Um, the election is 4 months away, and we also have to bear in mind a lot of things can happen. Okay, and we don't know if there's any further scandals which will affect either one of these two candidates. So um, now the crazy part, considering all the stuff that went down and considering the outcry that there is for Joe Biden to step down. He's behind the polls, but not by a big margin. Okay. And unfortunately, for the third presidential election in a row, we're dealing with candidates. Both candidates are flawed. Okay. You have Biden, whose cognitive skills are definitely on decline, and you have Trump that lies like a cheap rug. And now the latest lie is that he doesn't know anything about Project 2025, even though many members of his administration are involved regarding Project 2025. So all I'm gonna say is this: this does not look good. Okay, this does not look good. Okay, and once again, we have to pick between two extremely flawed candidates. Now I know look, I get it that there are many people who support Trump, and that's perfectly fine. Okay. But in the light of in the light of Project 2025, which will remove all the checks and balances, um, it's gonna be like almost like a dictatorship. Well, okay. I was okay. I didn't know. I understand some people will look at it that way, but I think, in all fairness, if you take a look at Donald Trump in 2015 compared to Donald Trump today, I think even the most ardent supporters can say that he's not the same. Okay. And the fact that he's now trying to walk away from his knowledge regarding Project 2025, okay, when so many members of his administration are deeply involved. Now, mind you, as I stated before, if implemented, it will strip away all the rights and protections that municipal federal employees fought for. It would do away with the Department of Education. It would do away with the checks and balances. So it's bad enough when you give someone that much authority, but then again, that much authority whose cognitive skills have declined. That's even worse. I mean, that's just my humble opinion. Yeah. Well, one of the things that that Project 2025 would do is take away reproductive rights from women in general. Okay, that's something, and that's some. Okay, and I'm not asking you to take my word for it. All I'm asking you is, you know what? You just read Project 2025. Okay, because it's there in black and white. Okay, and also there's trying to outlaw pornography. Now let me make this perfectly clear. I'm not in favor of pornography. The problem is the only way that you really eliminate it is that you're going to have to put severe limits when it comes to freedom of expression, to the extent that it almost doesn't exist. Okay. Now, mind you, I am not advocating for people to be, you know, unlimited access to corn. I'm just simply stating what we needed to remove the presence of porn. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, so I would suggest anyone, and I mean anyone, to do your research regarding Project 2025, and then okay. Okay, now I would like to know how they managed to succeed in banning corn. Okay, um, it would be kind of hard to do so while maintaining freedom of expression, but we shall see. Now, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is copyright infringement. Yes, I agree with your sentiment 100%, Georgia. So, copyright infringement. Okay. Now, one thing that um, when it comes to producing material, um, it takes a lot of time for us to create content. Good evening, Irby. Thank you very much for stopping by. So just to let everybody, yes, that's true. Just to let everybody know, tonight is we're having open discussion. So basically, I'm just discussing multiple topics. So I started off by giving a brief update regarding my health. So I'm slowly recovering. Okay. Hopefully within a couple of weeks, I'll be able to transition from using a walker to a cane. So now the next thing I'm going to be talking about is copyright infringement. Okay. Now, whenever anyone, and I repeat, anyone that takes your content, whether it be video, whether it be pictures, whether it be audio, and use it without your express permission, they committed copyright infringement. Okay? Because the fact of the matter is this: when we as YouTube creators, uh, we devote a great deal of time and energy with our content. Okay, we actually go through the time of doing research. Yeah, you know what? I get it. Yeah, that's nothing new. So when you decide to use other people's content without the express written permission, and then you use that content to spread misinformation or to create a negative um, a narrative for whatever reason, you can be brought up on copyright infringement. Yes, people, there's currently 10 people here. We should have some more likes, please. Okay. Now, one thing about me, before I will share other people's content, good evening, Multi. Thank you very much for stopping by. And let me just let everybody know that my friend, okay, well, actually, I guess you can say my cyber granddaughter, Multi has her own channel, which she produces a lot of great content. So I'm gonna ask that show some love and check out her channel and subscribe. And of course, whenever Multi does create any content, I always make it a point of sharing it on my community tab. So therefore, my audience can check out her content. But the thing is, it's different because Multi shares my content and I share her content. Okay. So we both share, so we both mutually share each other's content. That's one thing. But when you take it upon yourself to load up an image and then write a narrative stating that I'm anything but a child of God, what's going to happen is you're going to be reported. Okay. And if you do it enough times, you can have your channel deleted. Okay. Actually, I'm going to be devoting a stream Monday night regarding cyberbullying. Okay. Because unfortunately, you have those individuals that try to cyberbully other people. Okay. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe what it is. I'm also going to talk about how to handle it, because there is a way to deal with it. Okay. It is unfortunate that we have people that have major issues that try to cyber bully people. I have known many people who have been the victims of cyberbullying, and usually because either they have issues with these people, whether it be because of their content or whether it be because they're cool with other people. Okay. It is unfortunate that these individuals exist. It is unfortunate that you have people who are into cyberbullying. Okay. Yeah, that is true. Okay. So we will have the discussion. So hopefully, the people in the chat will make their presence felt, and then, you know, and opine, and we will discuss it. Let's see here. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And let me tell you something. One thing I was say, Gigi, Multi are very good when it comes to sharing content. Okay, and I believe in doing the same thing. Not just giving a shout out, but but sharing their content and encouraging um, my supporters um, to check out their content and show some love. Okay, because the fact that's how I mean that's how it should be, because we are a community of small creators. Okay, so it's good when you have a collective that show support for each other. Okay. Now, one thing I will ask, um, which is the following: if any one of them see anyone that's that trying to cyberbully anyone, to report it to YouTube. Okay. Exactly, Georgia. We're family, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. We have to make it perfectly clear that we must stand together as a collective and let people know that if you're going to try to cyberbully any one of us, you got to deal with a collective. Okay. Then and only then will people when the cyberbullies will cease and desist. Okay. And unfortunately, there have been some YouTube creators that basically left because they don't want to deal with with the cyberbullying. Okay. And the fact of the matter is this: when you engage with these individuals and go back and forth with them, all you're doing is you're enabling them to continue. Okay. And to be perfectly honest, there's a time and a place where people don't need to respond. Okay. Now I've known everyone every one of these individuals in the chat for a considerable length of time. Okay. Exactly. That's a good point that you're raising up, Jojo. And unfortunately, I've never met this person, so but we need to hang together, and whenever Anyone, and I repeat, anyone, you know, uses our content collectively without permission, they need to be reported. Okay, it's not that I don't want to defend myself. It's just that at the same time, you have to be careful because what what in the art of defending yourself, I mean, basically, it goes back and forth, and it never ends, and it never ends. Believe me, I've seen it. Okay, in my 3 years as a YouTube creator, though. Okay, and again, usually the reason why. Yes, I'll be looking forward to it. Okay, I'll be looking forward to it. Okay, and just to cite an example. Okay, one individual, which I'm not going to say, actually loaded an image that I posted on my community tab to put it on their community tab to paint a narrative that's not true. Okay. All I'm going to say is the following. People know the type of person I am. Okay. People also know how I go how I conduct myself. People know that, or they should know, you know, how I operate. And basically, I try to get along with everybody. Okay. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. All I'm saying is I'm trying to get along. Okay. And this is one, and I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. It's one thing if you get on your platform and you say that I'm everything but a child of God. It's another thing when you take an image without my permission to paint this narrative that I am something that I'm not. You're gonna you will be reported, and this individual has been reported on YouTube. On YouTube. Okay. Which is why we're gonna have the discussion regarding um, copyright infringement next. Actually, cyberbullying next week. Okay. See the problem. Okay, the problem with slander. It's it's very difficult to prove. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you have to be able to illustrate that you've been harmed financially or otherwise by slander. Okay. So I'm not saying it's not impossible to prove. I'm saying it's very hard to prove. Okay. But we will have the discussion regarding cyberbullying next week. Now, the next thing I'm going to be talking about, of course, next week we're going to have the Republican National Convention. So of course, it's going to be a coronation for Donald Trump. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to hear the case being made why Donald Trump should be the 47th president of the United States. Let me tell you something. It can affect you. Slander can affect you in many ways, but problem is it's very hard to prove. Okay. So of course, they're gonna make their case. I'll probably gonna watch some of it at least, and then of course I will give you my critique. You are no, because you know what it is, Irby. Because if it doesn't affect them, they don't care. They only care when it affects them, and that's the reality. And then later, of course, we'll have the Democratic National Convention, which they're going to state their case why Joe Biden should be reelected. Okay. And of course, whenever there is further presidential debates, I will do streams to give my reactions regarding the debates. Okay. That's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why it's very hard to post slander. And nowadays you have people who hide behind an avatar, or what they'll do is they use other devices to mask their voices, okay, and things of that nature. So I will probably do a string regarding slander, and when I don't know, I will let you know. Also, this month um, is also the anniversary of my older brother's Albert's passing and my mother's passing as well. Yes. So I'm gonna be devoting a stream regarding the memory of both my older brother and my mom. Um, it's gonna be nine. It's been 9 years that my brother passed away, and 4 years that my mom passed away. Okay, but they are both in a better place, and they look after me. Okay, and I'm sure that on the day that I had my surgery, my mother was watching over me. Now, next week, I'll probably do another morning stream, but I think it's going to be Thank You Multi on my main channel. Okay. When I don't know because it's just that now. Okay. Basically, at this point, what I'm doing now is I'm exercising 3 times a week to get my knee into shape. Also, I have doctor's appointments coming up, and so I'll have to like tweak it a little regarding my scheduling. But of course, um, I would strive. Yes. Good evening, Titi Chuchu. Thank you very much for stopping by. Now, I see here we have a guest. So let me just state for the record that the views of those who appear on the panel are not necessarily those of the host of the channel. Any attempt to copy the material without the consent of the host is prohibited. Appearing on the call, you waive your rights to your image. Some of the views that people behold may be considered offensive to some viewers. If you do not like the content, you can block the channel. So, good evening, Irby.
Y'all can hear me?
I can hear you. What's up? Go ahead. Okay. I don't know what happened. I mean, I did hear it, but I guess that's what happens when you're using your Obama form to get on the panel. But anyway, Irby, the link has been pinned, so whenever you're able to resolve your technical issues, you can join. You can join the panel. But the next thing that I'm going to be discussing is out of these two people, who we're going to vote for. Okay. I mean, okay. I'm not the type of person that's going to tell you vote for this candidate or vote for the other candidate. Well, I will say this much. Know as much as you can regarding these candidates. And then you decide which one of the two you're gonna vote for. Okay. And I said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. Both of these candidates are extremely flawed. Okay. Let us just say for the sake of argument, we discount we don't even take into account that Donald Trump is facing a total of 91 criminal charges. Okay. Okay. And of course, Joe Biden has been in politics for over 50 years. Okay. What I will say is the following. Do your due diligence, do your research regarding both of these candidates. And then you decide which one of these two you're going to support. Okay. Because realistically speaking, okay, you can vote for a third party candidate. Chances are that person is not going to get into the White House. Okay. Even though it's possible that that person might be in the ballot in all 50 states. Most likely, whoever is going to be the winner, it's going to be Biden or Trump. Okay. Let's see. Okay. As I stated before, both of these candidates are extremely flawed. Both of them. And in all fairness, both of their cognitive skills have declined. Okay. And there's another issue. There's a possibility that either one of these persons may die in office. Which means that whoever is the VP, he will have to be a very strong candidate because there have been a few times where the VP has become president because of death, either because of illness or because of assassination. Well, Trump may be more sharp, but he lies. Okay. Now, one of the lies he had mentioned was that the migrants or the asylum seekers are staying in luxury hotels. I I was dealing with these people for over a year. And I can say this much. None of the hotels that I'd stayed where they house these people would be considered luxury in any way, shape, or form. Okay. In fact, basically, the last place I worked was a roach infected flea bag of a hotel. You know what? I'm sure in 2028 that he's going to be a serious candidate. Um, and the fact of the matter, he is younger. Okay. So, time, time will tell. Okay. Of course, um, Kamala Harris might decide to run for president. Okay. But that's 4 years away. Let's see if we can put this campaign to rest before we start thinking about 2028. But I'm sure once the election is over, um, it's going to be interesting. Okay. Okay. So what I would say, as I said, what I would suggest. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I will tell you do your research, and then based on your research, you decide. Basically, you have four options. Option number one, not vote. Option number two, vote for a third party candidate or a writing candidate. Option number three, vote for Joe Biden. Option number four, vote for Donald Trump. Well, okay, I don't know a lot about Marco Rubio to give an opinion either way. Okay, I will say this that in some circles he's not considered very bright. Okay, in some circles. Again, I don't know him. I don't know him. I know he's a conservative and things of that nature. So we shall see. Now, of course, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is the circus. Okay, I gotta admit, okay, I'm not gonna mention, I'm not gonna mention anyone's names, but I noticed that the same people keep going back and forth. Um, you know, calling each other names, calling each other everything but a child of God. And today, I actually took a look at some of Creole Chief content. After about 5 minutes, I had to stop. Okay. Good evening, Don Armando. Thank you very much for stopping by. And of course, I want to let everybody know that Don Armando also has this YouTube channel where he produces his content. So I'm going to ask that you show some love and support him as well. Okay. Now, okay, I have no issue with, okay, with the YouTube creator formerly known as Creole Chief. But it's like, this is the thing. I understand he is rebranding himself, but this is the thing. In spending less time talking about that you got to do this, that you got to do that, you got to do this, do it. Okay. because it gets kind of boring after a while. Now, like I said before, I have no issue with the guy, um, but this this going back and forth is not necessary. Okay, excuse me, I need to step away for a moment. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, I'm back. I just have to step away for a moment. Okay. Um, but one thing about myself, I've never been the type of person that that say I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I just simply do it. Okay. But maybe I have to understand that everyone's is different. Okay, which makes it which makes it a good thing. You know, if everyone was the same, it'd be very boring. Okay. Um, Now, actually, next month, believe it or not, it's going to be 3 years that I've been a serious YouTube creator. Okay, and of course, in my 3 years, I've learned quite a few things. I also made some big mistakes along the way, but I have learned. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And this is the thing. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you made a mistake as long as you willing to, to self-evaluate and then take appropriate action. Okay. Now there have been topics where perhaps it would have been better left not discussed. And of course, there have been certain people that I had linked up, which now in retrospect, it would have been better not to do so. Okay. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to give anyone any shine. Okay. But there have been certain individuals that I had associated myself with only to see them uh, turn their back to me. Others attack me. Okay. And some of them I actually have defended. But you know what? You learn. You learn and then you move on. Okay. But one thing I will say that I am very happy knowing the people that are on the chat. Okay. I have been blessed, you know, knowing such people like Don Armando, Gigi, Multi, Irby, Titi Juju. Okay. I have been blessed. Okay. And of course, I have had the opportunity, with the exception of Irby, to be on the platforms, and I've been received well. So I really do appreciate it. Yeah, yeah, she is. Let me tell you something. She's very cool. Okay, but now I learn what I have to do in order for her to appear on my platform. I have to interview her. But you know what? Let me tell you something. When I did the interview with Xtina, I mean that was that stream was one of the best streams that I did. Okay. And yes, one thing I'll say about her, she is very down to earth. Okay. And unfortunately, there are certain people that take advantage. Um, but it is a, but you know what? You live and you learn. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if Irby take. Okay. Good evening, Irby.
Good evening. What's good, Jose?
So, what's on your mind?
Oh, nothing, just chilling. He was talking about the election as usual.
Yeah. Well, as I like to say, the circus is alive and unwell.
Yep. Golden days of our lives, man.
Yeah. But it's just that at times it could be very funny. It could be humorous to seeing people going back and forth and talking about the talking trash and what have you. But it's just that I prefer not to get involved with all that and just be the best version of myself.
Yeah, I got bored easily by everybody. It's the same people and they saying the same things over and over again. There's nothing new.
I mean, basically, it's a bad rerun.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is
it's
it a
like
bad reunion or a bad sequel? Sequel.
you know what? I think it's more of a bad. I think it's more a bad sequel. I mean, just going back and forth and talking about, well, I'm going to rebrand my channel. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's like, look, a little less talking and a little more action, my friend.
And they been rebrand the channel, their channel.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, supposedly, yes.
They're I don't know, man. Like I saw it like a couple of days ago. Somebody was suing somebody. Somebody was gonna sue somebody. I'm like, y'all bored as hell at this point.
And this is the thinking, sue for what? Sue for what? What was done that will cause you to take legal action? Really? Okay.
I don't know. Talking shit about it.
Okay. Oops. Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, they both was equally talking shit about each other all day and every day. I want to
Okay.
know.
Good.
Ain't
Okay.
nobody
Good.
slaying nobody.
Okay. Good evening, Punjabi Harry Party.
Are you annoying? Free Palestine! What's up, though, Jose?
How you
What's
doing?
up,
I'm doing
man?
fine tonight. Like I said, the circus is alive and I'm well.
Now, you know what's funny? The circus is always going to be a circus. You know what?
Hmm.
I never thought in a million years I would actually be made fun of being a homeowner. But that takes depravity to new heights. I gotta say, I just have, I just cried in my bed, just crying, just being just a homeowner. Like, like it's so bad to be a homeowner nowadays, right? Please, who gives a crap? I'm happy to be a homeowner, so therefore I don't care what anybody has to say.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
mean, I decide to load one picture of me and my lady on my community tab. All of a sudden, it's like I'm supposed to be like painting old posters, trying to hide the fact I'm lonely and unloved.
the narrative of bad storytelling is it just doesn't really amaze me. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's insane. It's humorous at the same time. I mean, but this narrative, okay, before I was racist. Then I was like an old senile lonely white guy. Now it's like no one cares about me. Really?
Some people's lives are just so fucking miserable, and they want other people's lives to be miserable with them. They just want misery loves company. I'm like, some of them just need to go see a therapist or something.
Nah, I mean, to me, it's this, right? It's funny that for like
Or
maybe these past
or
eight
feel
or nine
aggressive.
months, right? I've been threatened of I'm gonna get arrested. How should I say? A lot of the guy all of a sudden wants to go around and say that I am of the LGBT movement. I'm like, no. If anybody have met me or talked to me, like no offense to that community, but I don't portray myself to actually be from that community. Then on top of it, you the person has a fixation of uploading pictures of my spouse and saying a lot of facts and try to fat shame her with kindergarten insults.
Mhm.
Now it's like, okay, guess what? One thing that I've seen with a lot of these racist coots on YouTube is that they always like to fat shame. But yet, I don't see none of these racist cooks have wives or women. It'll be like maybe 25% of them that actually have a wife or a girlfriend, right? The rest of them are
Yeah.
just going around and they fat shaming women, knowing full well that there's certain men that loves fat women or big women. And I'm one of them. And I'm proud to say that. I'm married. And guess what? Like before I got here, everybody was telling me that my wife is beautiful. Now I'm hearing all these childish insults, and I'm like, y'all got nothing better to do than to diss people who are married. But yet, I don't see none of y'all doing better than me.
Yeah, but
It's either two things. It's either they're insult, they're lonely themselves, or they want to date you. Because
Yeah, yeah, I think
I don't know why they be worrying about. Yep. But
guys, remember, I'm Hitler.
and guys, remember, I'm the fake Dominican or monoracial. I didn't even know what monoracial was meant until Georgia explained it to me. I was just like, I'm like, think like no offense, right? When you're talking about the African American experience in this country, right?
Yes.
Who what African American is really monoracial if you really think about it?
there are
Interesting.
some. There's some. There's some. You
Yeah,
probably
there's
tell a
some,
lot
but
of
but what I'm trying to say is rare. You know what I'm trying to say? The reason why I say that is like, okay, monoracial means that you're one race, right? That you're just straight one race, no admixtures or nothing, right?
Hmm. Correct.
So So if a person come around saying was alleging that I'm a monoracial, I'm a fake Dominican, but yet they went and the entities went up and doxed me, and it found out that I am who I say I am. So now, since they know the truth, they're just gonna go in and put more lies on top just because they can't handle the truth.
Well, I don't get this. Like, how you a fake Dominican? Some of these people got issues with their own identity. How you a fake Dominican?
You see, it's like this. I do not speak Spanish like the Dominican diaspora because of my upbringing, right? So
Yeah, but
therefore, you have a whole bunch of racist Dominicans who are from one region, and they think that they could speak for all of the Dominican Republic, which they can't. So, since 2020, a certain racist poop tuber went up and decided to go in and curse out a lot of African Americans and whatsoever.
Mhm.
With him doing uploading that viral video, it just gave birth to a lot of these guys that actually had feelings like that, but now they actually that's all their content's about is how these guys are racist, but yet y'all saying racist stuff like calling people denigrating people to monkeys, to the simian species and everything like that, trying to downplay their culture. And then on top of it, you say like I'm better than y'all, and then they actually go, and then you got entities that actually go on TikTok and other just to argue with black people, and when they lose the argument, they'll try to send somebody within the quote unquote black collective just to dox that person and try to shut them up.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's more. I don't think it's that you don't speak like the Dominican diaspora. Because there's a lot of Jose. Do you know 100% Spanish?
Okay, let me make this perfectly clear. I know for a fact when I do speak Spanish, I sound like a gringo. Okay, and basically, that's the same situation with Don Armando. Okay,
Yeah,
so they listen to his Spanish and they automatically assume that he's everything but a Dominican. But look,
but
there are many of the diaspora that don't speak Spanish at all.
yeah, especially the ones that's like born here. Like a lot of my
Yes,
friends who born here, they don't know how to speak Spanish like a 100%. Like somebody like from their parents or grandparents' homeland.
yeah. And one thing we have to understand is that there are many reasons why. Okay, like in my case, my parents were so concerned about me assimilating that they discouraged me from speaking Spanish in the home.
In my case, which I explained, is that my mother knew both languages, but when she first came to this country, she wanted her children to know English more. So in that, my mother did not go and see like in the 90s and the 2000s that the explosion of the Hispanic community in New York, it came to a point that Spanish had to be like the second language, and Spanish was like maybe the only way that certain people could actually get jobs in New York at that time if they knew Spanish.
Uh-huh.
So since I was 16 and such, and my mom just gave me some language and stuff, I started actually learning on my own in the streets of New York. Now, I'm not going to go on and say that my joint is actually 100% grammatical because it's not. And there'll be sometimes that my wife don't even understand. But she speaks better Spanish than I do. And
Yeah,
most of the time, I could actually communicate with my mother-in-law, and I could communicate with everybody else. So,
yeah.
so when I go and somebody's trying to tell me, oh, I said my stuff. One gas night, I went and tried to take one word I said. Dominican on vacation, right? They want to go and say, "Oh, you can't be two." I'm like, yeah, I can, because I know my history. You ain't gonna go in and tell me my history, and they're going to go and they want to gaslight. Oh, your family only from St. Kitts. All right, so if that's the case, right? So why the heck I got Spanish last week? Yeah, if you want to go around and try to be gaslighted, and then when they know that I have the truth, they want to go around and try to put more lies and more lies and more lies. The reason, and I've seen this as a pattern.
Uh-huh.
The first one is that started, it was barking racist, right? So he actually once, and even Xeno went up and said in the video, right, that this guy actually was telling lies that Xena was Haitian just because of her
Wow.
skin color.
Wow.
And
Hold on,
I'm
but
like, and and I was talking to another content creator on TikTok, and he's on Twitter as well. Is that these guys' agenda is to try to wipe out any semblance of Afro Latino culture, and they're doing that by trying to dox people and try to swat people, try to falsely call the authorities on people and everything like that. It's a whole cabal of these idiots.
hold on, but
So,
there's a or can I respond?
say what
There's
you got to say.
there's like an elephant in the room, I think, Don Armando, when it comes to this thing about with the Afro Dominican, because I seen this, because think is what you are saying, and I was seeing Fighter was saying this on his stream, and even Almara Al Negra was saying that because there's this thing about when they want to curse out like the Afro Dominicans, Afro Latinos in general, but the Afro Dominicans, they do try to call y'all Haitian Haitian, and I think that's like a color issue because and like most of the Dominican Republic is like mixed race.
You see, I'm going to tell you, because, okay, the phenotype in Haiti is like maybe 85% African, right?
Yeah.
But what the TV is not going to show you, they're not actually going to go show you Haitians that could actually pass as Hispanic.
Yeah.
You only saw that once when it was that the president at the time, and his name was Raul Cedras. Now, if Raul Cedras was to actually walk the streets of Santo Domingo, nobody will know who he is, because they'll just think like, okay, he's just a regular Joe Schmo Dominican, because he could
What's his
pass for
name?
that, right?
What's his name? I'm
Raul
gonna go look him up.
Raul Cedras.
I'm gonna go look him up.
But one thing that gets lost with some of these Hispanotaps is that when the Spaniards came to the so-called New World and the supposed discovery, many of them did not bring women. So of course, what's going to happen is men having carnal urges. What they're going to do? They're going to try to get with the indigenous women or the African, no, all the women Africans have slaves and get involved and satisfy their carnal lusts. That's why you have Latinos of different hues, and let's keep it real. Um, some of these women were great, so to speak. So it's not like they actually, thought that these Spaniards were hard and they just gave it up like that. Some of them was unfortunately raped.
Yes. And when I actually talk about that, I get insults and everything like that. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna go in and say it, but there's a certain content creator I'm not gonna go and be around that show that much. I'm actually focusing on my own thing. Oh yeah, thank you, Irby, for actually showing up on my live stream tonight. Salute to you. So I'm actually gonna do my own thing, and I've been doing my own things for months. So I'm not gonna go around and be around people who actually discredit me. They want to dox me, disrespect me, and everything like that. I'm like, okay, well, guess what? If you want to feel like that, well, you don't have to. You will never have to see me again. And if you keep mentioning my name and such, like we all know that you could mention my real name whatsoever. But if I never seen you, I never heard about you a day in my life, I don't really care. Mention my name all you want. You don't know me. That's it.
Yeah. But
Oh,
but you know
I
what?
just look him, I just look him up. He could pass for Dominican. He could pass for Puerto Rican. All types.
Thank you. But yet the Hispano taps will try to go around and push the narrative, but they don't push the truth.
I mean, let me tell you something. If you were to see a picture of Chivo, phonetically speaking, he doesn't look anything like a Caucasian. He looks like an Afro Latino. But of course, his mission is to make the DR white again.
What's his name
Like you,
again? Chivo.
yeah, Chivo 2121.
Oh, I know who y'all talking about. He looks mixed race.
Yeah, but mind you, his mission is to make the DR white again.
Wow,
And
the Turkish.
yeah, that's why I call it a circus because these people act like a bunch of clowns. Okay. And you know what's the crazy thing about this individual? If he was alive when there was the war for independence where the Americans were fighting for their freedom against Spain, he actually said he will fight in the side of the Spanish. So basically, he will fight against his own people.
You
Make
see,
that make sense.
it doesn't make sense. And I'm going to tell you why. Which goes to my things
Mhm.
skin. So therefore, they're not real. And most of the people who actually, unless if they have military experience, a lot of these people that have no military experience, if it was to push come to shove, they will not last in a war. If it was to go down in the Dominican Republic, they'll be the first ones to run. They could talk all the big talk and everything like that, but if it was going down right now, they'll be the one running, or they will try to send somebody else to do their dirty work. That's
Mhm.
how these guys are, just straight up cowards.
Yeah, yeah. But I actually saw this video clip earlier today where Chivo was, I guess you want to call it a debate with some of the other people on the panel. And all I can say is the delusion that this man was talking about was off the chart.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. But, you know, that's why certain people need to be placed in a 72-hour involuntary observation period with a straitjacket and placed in a rubber room. I see we lost Irby again. So,
Yeah.
but
So my thing is this: you have certain people are level-headed and people who are just idiots. So you have somebody who's actually under the nut sacks of another person. And my thing is this: when you see people who are blind and you want to go and look at a person as a leader and stuff like that, you're bound to fail. And I've seen this time and time again, whether it be my own professional life, whether it be on here on the YouTube streams and everything like that. So when I actually see a lot of these men or so-called alpha males doing stuff, the alpha males that I grew up with didn't go around and dox people or try to tell a person that their ethnic card had been revoked just because they couldn't get a date with the opposite sex. So if you really look at it, all this stuff is rooted in ignorance and and high stupidity. And then on top of it, have these so-called guys that these like, oh, I don't want this that they want to go after a dark skinned woman, but yet they will not respect her. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah,
They want the dark skinned woman to go with their twisted ideology. And when the woman sees that you twisted and they don't want to go with what you're saying, that's when you see everybody go, I'm gonna go and take your this, your that. The last time I forgot, the last thing I know, who the heck is you? You don't you don't bring no capital to what it is the Dominican Republic. Instead, you want to go and try to have Dominicans in a cabal, right? And anybody that don't go around and march your tune, you actually have to go and try to get them doxxed. You want to go and put their lives in danger and everything like that. And to me, that's not what the Dominican culture is. And nine times out of ten, this person they could go around and say that they're pro this, they're pro that. They're actually linking up with a whole bunch of other Hispanotabs, and they're actually trying to go against or try to stop anything that the African American community is doing, so therefore they could better themselves. So it's going to be a long fight. That's all I got to say.
yeah. I hear, I hear you. But we will have a discussion regarding cyberbullying Monday night. Okay, and
I might have a stream. Yeah, I might have a stream tomorrow. Well, I mean either Sunday or Monday night regarding the same thing, and I might try to bring my special guest to your panel also. So I'll talk to you about that behind the scenes, Don Jose.
okay, fine. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, I'm about to
Okay,
bounce, and thank you for having me on your panel.
okay. Well, thank you for stopping by.
Anytime.
Take care. Peace.
Peace.
Okay. So, I mean, look, when everything is said and done, I mean, we cannot control what other people say or do. What we can control is how we're going to respond. Okay. And the thing is, when it comes to cyberbullying, we cannot respond emotionally because basically what it does, it's important these people to continue with it with their stupidity. What we can do is we can respond intelligently, okay? Which is of course informing YouTube whenever anyone is performing any activity or behavior which violates the community guidelines and keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it until either the individual stops or to the point where the channel gets deleted. Okay. And unfortunately, there have been YouTube creators that felt the need to leave the platform because of cyberbullying. Okay. I will do my part and basically report whenever anyone uses content without the creator's permission, whether it be my content or whether it be the content of other YouTube creators. Then and only then, excuse me, will such behavior will end. So, but I will say this much: I really do appreciate the interaction on the chat, and I really do appreciate um no number of likes. Okay, but look, I am just simply trying to be uh, the best version of myself. That's all I'm trying to do. Okay, and of course, I'm forever trying to improve. I'm forever trying to do better. I'm also forever trying to learn from mistakes. So therefore, um, I can produce a more higher quality content. Okay, because I do actually take pride in my work, and I do appreciate all the love and all the support all of you have given me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop to wrap this up. Uh, I will be live Monday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time um, regarding cyberbullying, and we will discuss it and we will come with solutions because that's the whole point of this platform. Okay. So with that being said, I do hope that you enjoy your weekend. Make sure that you uh, be good to yourself and just strive to be the best version of yourself. So, and of course, I'm going to end this stream the same way that I always ended. We must do everything possible to uh, avoid the presence of the mentally and intellectual challenge because if we fail to do so, we're going to be infected by their stupidity, and that's insanity. Yes, Irby, it is a good topic. It's something that needs to be discussed. Okay. And again, we need to think as a collective in dealing with cyberbullying. So, with that being said, this has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Wishing all of you a very good night, a great weekend, peace, and hopefully we'll see you real soon at another stream. Take care and peace.